Hey friends, Dan here. I wanted to come on before the episode began and apologize for it being delayed. As I'm sure you can tell from the name of the episode, and you're going to hear all the details very shortly, the episode is mostly about an event to support our good friend Bart Kaminski of Hophead's Gear in his fight against cancer. Shortly after we recorded this episode, Bart passed away. Still doesn't feel real. We thought it was best to delay the episode to respect the privacy of Bart's close friends and family so they can grieve and process it, and truth be told, so we could process it too. The event will go on as planned, so we can honor Bart's memory and celebrate his life. He touched so many lives and inspired everyone to be their absolute best, and he put nothing but positivity into this world. And we're going to get to honor him in the most Bart way possible. We're going to have one hell of a party. It's going to celebrate beer and music and, most importantly, friends.
The only thing we have to beer is beer itself.
Beer. So many choices.
Oh, we no function beer well without.
Woohoo! Beer!
Hello and welcome to another episode of Beer Busters. We're going to bring you the news and reviews of your favorite brews. I'm Dan Baker, joined by my co-host and brewologist,
Steph Hefner.
and of course the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
Man, there's a lot that's going to happen in this episode. We're gonna talk about a lot of things. We're gonna talk about fun stuff, serious stuff, celebratory stuff, expansion stuff. There's a lot that is on the docket.
We're going to hear some voices tonight that you haven't heard on this podcast for quite some time.
No, that's very exciting. Triumphant returns for two old friends of the show. We have joining us from Tattered Flag Brewery,
Justin Hoke.
Awesome, Justin. Thank you for joining us tonight. And of course, you know what? He's a guy that's done like everything and been involved in like Homebrew Fest and has worked at probably some of your favorite breweries if you're listening to this. And is part of Hopheads. We have joining us
Dean Pierce.
Dean. Thank you for joining us as well, man.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah, I didn't really know what to say your current affiliation is because you do like everything.
You can just call me the Dean of Beer. That's what I go by on Instagram.
Boom!
So.
I love it.
I did notice that you changed your handle, and I am a big fan of the new Instagram handle.
I did. I don't know why I never thought of that beer pun before. I don't know why. But.
Hey man, better late than never. It's perfect.
Yeah, that's really
good.
So there you go. You can follow Dean online, Dean of Beer.
Of course. Well, we do have a lot we're going to get into. Housekeeping first. Remember, you know what you got to do online. You can follow us along. We are at Beer Busters on Twitter and Instagram. Facebook, we are Beer Busters Podcast. There is also beerbusterspodcast.com/shop. Get yourself some sweet merch. There is youtube.com/Beerbusters Podcast. You get to see the videos that Wayne cuts up and makes us look real good on the internet. Just take the compliment.
Stuff. Oh, also, if you missed it, I recently-ish, I think since the last recording, maybe it was before that, I don't remember. Time is fuzzy. But the Love Letter to Lagers is up on our YouTube channel. The webinar we did for Philly Beer Week a while ago now, but it's up there. So you can watch that with Jack from Jack's Abbey and Ashley from Bierstadt Lager House as we all talk about lager and how amazing it is.
Yes, that was fun.
And we're going to have our third actually, Denver/Denver area brewery featured on our podcast coming up in a very soon episode.
Yes.
Very exciting.
Stay tuned for that.
Indeed. But the matter at hand.
Yeah, well, one last housekeeping. Oh. Don't forget patreon.com.
Oh, yes, go to
Beerbusters.
That's an important one. Patreon.
You get access to Last Call, the cool, bonus segment of the podcast. You get access to the whopping 2 episodes of Blockbusters that we did. You get access to a behind-the-scenes feed. You can go to in-person recordings in the Beer Busters podcast basement if and when they're allowed to happen. And I can now say there's other exclusive audio on there too. There is a about 20-minute clip of exclusive audio with our pal Ethan and his dog Hoagie from right before we recorded that episode with him last time.
We have live audio of Ethan Buckman from Stickman walking his dog. It's a scoop.
Yeah, and it's Ethan, so you know it's going to be good. All that for as little as $1 a month. Patreon.com/beerbusters.
Under the Blockbuster.
Any other brewer, that would sound so boring, but knowing that it's Ethan, I think that probably is going to be awesome.
Very true, very true.
It's worth $1. Under the Blockbusters episodes, can we do like what Untapped does and put no longer in production to make it like a little bougier?
I mean, are we officially like kiboshed it? I mean, it's been a couple months.
We haven't kiboshed it necessarily. We'll probably do some fun side projects of varying kinds, whether it's movie reviews or not, and we'll throw them on Patreon. So keep your eyes open.
Yeah. It's a work in progress, much like my life.
Yeah, fair enough.
Well, there is a lot that's going to be at hand, and we should get to the matter at. So not only do we want to catch up with these two wonderful fellows that are on the show with us this evening, last episode we had mentioned some news about our pal Bart, who, I mean, I think we can safely say that we wouldn't know Dean or Justin had it not been for Bart. Bart is struggling with a rare form of cancer. He's undergoing treatment for it. It's stage 4. I looked at the medical words, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce them, but it's a serious deal. And we, as much as everybody loves Bart, of course, we can't go without putting on a shindig in his honor and trying to raise some money.
Yep,
and
yep.
I'm very, very excited and honored that we're going to be there recording. And it's going to be August 14th. It's going to be in Middletown at Tattered Flag. I love that you guys are hosting it and doing all this. And Dean, you're doing a lot of the legwork with getting everything set up and getting breweries on board. And you guys are doing a hell of a thing. And you're like going with lightning speed at it. And I can only imagine how many calls and emails and texts you guys are sending every day about this. I want to say thank you for putting this on, because this is huge. And Bart is a guy that, you know, if you don't know him, you still know
him.
Yeah.
You may not know you know him, but you know him. If you drink beer, you know him.
Yeah, exactly.
If you drink beer in Pennsylvania, you know Bart.
Yeah. Oh, very much so. So yeah, it's coming up August 14th. It's going to be at Tattered Flag in Middletown. I mean, how many breweries are there going to be, guys?
So, yeah, I mean, do you want me to kind of get into everything and just kind of bring that up as we go?
Or let's dive right in.
Give us the latest detail.
Yeah, so like Dan said, the event's going to be August 14th at Tattered Flag in Middletown. So Tattered Flag has actually worked out with the borough in Middletown. They're literally shutting down 2 blocks of the street.
Almost. It's our whole block down to the grocery store south of us. Some people may be familiar with a festival we did back in 2019 for Harrisburg Beer Week called Little Beer Fest.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The max ABV was like 5.5%, and we filled the street. And we're going to be doing the same thing again. That event was a huge success, and it really is a stepping stone into what can be even better, which is going to be our brews and music.
Brews and bands for Bart.
Bands and brews for Bart. Yeah. It's so we're shutting down the street out front. We kind of have the neighborhood on board with us, which we'll get into a little bit here. Some local restaurants, and everybody's really, really excited to kind of put this event on when they found out what it was for. So
and Justin, if I can just jump in real quick and say, you know, number one, thank you and the rest of Tattered Flag and the whole town of Middletown, because literally you guys have been awesome from the start. I mean, we were scrambling to find places. You know, it was a challenge in itself. And, you know, I got connected with Justin through a mutual friend and Chris Harvey. And from day one, you know, we kind of all got on the same page, and it's just been great. So we're so excited about it. You know, so going into it a little bit more. So August 14th from 12 to 4, right outside Tattered Flag. Tickets in advance are $40. Day of $45. I'll give the link and everything at the end on where we can get tickets. You know, we're going to have a donation stand set up at the event. We'll be doing 50-50 raffles, some silent auction type events. A couple of the items for the silent auction we got donated. We have some mobile monitors. We have a desktop monitor, an HP gaming bundle, Lenovo gaming a Lenovo gaming mouse, Lenovo gaming keyboard, Lenovo ThinkPad. I think we have 2 or 3 of those, an HP laptop, some Bluetooth speakers, some wireless mice, Google Home Minis, Amazon Echo Dots, Lenovo backpacks. So those are just some of the items that we're going to be raffling off. Like I said, 50-50 raffles, and many more stuff. And then, of course, the main event, we're going to have 3 bands playing, and they're all very popular bands within Pennsylvania. We have the Colt Wilbur Band, the Martini Brothers, and Shannon Bob Acoustic. So we're all excited about that. And then, as far as the breweries, Justin and I, we've been working nonstop here to get these guys signed on board, and we got a great lineup. And I think Justin will back me up when I say that we got some real good power coming as far as the breweries go. All right, guys, so we're really excited. We have some really great breweries lined up. Justin and I have been working tirelessly to get these guys on board, nonstop emails, texts. Kevin Keller from Hopheads has helped out with some guys too. And so we're really excited. So, Justin, would you like to read off the so far, overall, we have 34 breweries that we have signed up for the fest. But by the time this podcast airs, we will only have 20 that we've announced so far, just because we're doing the breweries in waves. So, Justin, would you like to talk about the 20 breweries that we already have announced for the fest?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'd like to start by saying we are kind of we're focusing on creating a draw for this fest. Obviously, it's a very special event to us. It has some personal attachments. And in doing so, we want to create a more unique experience than your average Central PA Beer Fest. In turn, we kind of reached out to some distant names, some new faces to the beer festival game, and even some national attention from some pretty big names out of the Florida area. But I can kick off what we have now. Obviously, we're going to be pouring some stuff with Tattered Flag. We have a really cool beer that we'll be talking about later in this segment that we did with Rotunda, who is also our number 2 brewery to announce. In addition to those 2, we have Stickman's, Trogs, Poor Man's, St. Boniface, Workhorse, Our Town out of Lancaster, Moo Duck, and Funk, both in Elizabethtown, are joining us. We have Wingcraft, Stolen Sun, Pilgaroo, who is still in the middle of their soft opening and haven't even officially opened yet. 7 Sirens out of the Bethlehem area. JB Love Drafts, again, yet to have even opened, will be participating. Naked Brewing Company, Mad Chef, Fourscore, Levante, and Chatty Monks. They're all going to be a part of our festival coming up here. And we're really stoked to have a lot of these guys get on board, guys and girls get on board, and make this event a great success.
Yeah, that's a pretty great list, and we know that the ones that are yet to be announced are pretty awesome too. So it's going to be a really cool fest. Just as far as the beers that are going to be there, it's going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, and Justin, can I piggyback off you there and talk about the collab beer that we got going on?
Absolutely. Yeah, I actually just transferred it to the Bright Tank today.
Ooh.
Perfect. So obviously, the Brew Fest itself was the main part of this, and that's great. But I wanted to do more, and I do everything possible that we can to get all the most money that we can for Bart. And so I kind of worked with Justin on this. I had some ideas. I got with Justin. We kind of brainstormed. So basically what we're doing is a huge collaboration where me and Justin and the guys at Rotunda Brewing, we all kind of collaborated and worked on the recipe. I told Justin, hey, this needs to be a West Coast IPA because it's Bart's favorite style. Just hoppy, bitter, in your face, not any of this hazy crap. And he's like, totally. So, we worked together on that. So that beer is going to be coming out. Well, like Justin said, he has it in the Bright Tank. So I think we're shooting for early August to maybe get that.
I'll probably be packaging this beer up Monday and Tuesday. In saying that, we have a lot of participating breweries that are going to want to carry this beer. And they're most, if not all of them, to my knowledge, are donating at least a generous portion, if not in some cases 100% of sales from this keg or kegs, whatever they decide to carry, right back to our cause here for Bart. And we're up to
18 breweries and tap rooms that are going to be putting this on draft and donating proceeds back to the event. So, and Justin, and I'll kind of keep going here. So the breweries that we have signed up for the collaboration beer, as of right now, like I said, we have 18 breweries and tap rooms that are going to put this beer on tap. And I should mention too, the name of the beer I think is really cool. If you guys have the Where's the Haze Bro from that Justin got us all.
Yeah.
So we're actually the West Coast version of that we're doing. It's called Where's the Haze Bart. And we have a label designed for it and everything it's basically the dude on this can, but instead of this guy, it's Bart looking at the beer. So yeah, like Justin said, they're going to donate a portion back, at least $1 per pint. Most of them have already said they'll donate everything back, or a lot of them anyways have already said that, and I'm sure most of them probably will by the end of it. So, I can tell you that the breweries that are putting that beer on so far, in addition to the Brew Fest itself, we got Tattered Flag will have that on. Rotunda Brewing, who is a collaborating brewer with Tattered Flag. So Rotunda will have it on at both of their locations. Poor Man's, Wolf Brewing, Stickman's, Mad Chef will have it on. St. Boniface, Boneshire, Haymeyer, Pizza Boy, Mooduck, Big Dog, and yeah, they're a newer brewery out of Lancaster. So we got those guys on. We got Wingcraft, which is another new brewery. We have Columbia Kettleworks, Funk Brewing, Rainy Cellars, Liquid Noise, and one of Bart's favorite bars, Johnny Joe's, and I believe they're in Mechanicsburg. So, 18 spots where you'll be able to find this beer, and they'll have it on even after the fest itself ends. And so we'll get whatever amount we raise at the fest. This collab beer will put more into it even after the fest ends. So we're really excited about that.
That's cool. I love that. Where's the haze, Bart?
Yeah. I can't wait to see the can.
Yeah.
The art.
That's going to be cool.
I can pull. Let me see here. I'll pull it.
Yeah, I was gonna say I just sent it over.
Sneak preview.
If I can find it. Wait for
no
it.
pressure. No pressure, Dean.
No pressure.
Okay, now there's a little bit of pressure.
That's all right. So
All the
I don't know if
pressure.
you can see it. Probably not.
Okay. Yep.
Wow.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yeah, I shared that with Bart last night and told him about what we have going on with the collab portion, and he absolutely loved it. So that definitely brought a big smile to his face, which was awesome.
That's
cool.
great.
Really cool.
Obviously, this is an audio medium, but for you listening to this right now, I promise you will love the artwork when you see it.
Yeah.
It's spot on.
That's amazing.
You'll have to see with your ears.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, we'll figure out a way to make that work. But yeah, so August 14th in Middletown, tickets a steal at 40 ahead of time and 45 day of, especially if you're 20 announced with, what do you say, 34 that are like confirmed so far?
34 so far, but we fully expect that to be at least, what do you think, Justin? At least.
Well, we just added another one today. At least beer-wise.
Oh, yes.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
That hasn't been announced
Hasn't
yet.
been announced, but yeah, something really cool, a really cool connection that was able to be made will be represented there. But that's great. Again, thank you guys for putting this on. Thank you for having us as part of it. It's a huge honor. I mean, Bart's a dude who just... Well, how did I describe him last episode? Happiness defined, I think is what I said.
I heard that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, he's always in good spirits. He loves being around people. He loves people, which I find fucking weird and fascinating. But it's endearing. It's amazing. He's a person I aspire to be like, and I'm glad that we can bring this community together. I said it, and fuck knows I'll say it again. There is such an unparalleled camaraderie in the craft beer community, and this is the perfect example.
Yep.
And let me say something to that too, Dan. And I know you guys are aware, and a lot of people are aware, but going outside the fact that, like you said, Bart is just an awesome fucking person and just one of a kind. Bart, as you guys know, he has also helped me raise thousands of dollars for my charity, for my Relay for Life team, which is in honor of my mother, who passed away from the same fucking disease, literally the same disease that Bart has.
Jesus.
Not just cancer, but the same kind of cancer, lung cancer.
I did not know that, man.
And
wow.
It's just a fucking cruel twist of fate how that works. But, you know, so, I mean, we've raised thousands of dollars throughout the years, you know, with our karaoke parties, our homebrew fests, just all kinds of the shenanigans that we've done in the past. And, so it was kind of a no-brainer to, you know, to get everyone together here and do the same for him because, you know, without question, he's done it for me and so many other people throughout the years. So, you know, it's a no-brainer to say the least.
Absolutely.
And I think the camaraderie word is perfect. I mean, I don't think there's anyone else that we know in the beer world that has created camaraderie the way Bart has. That, like, what he has done for Pennsylvania beer and beyond is just insane. I mean, we were talking before recording, the three of us, about how we don't think we'd still be doing this 8.5 years later if it wasn't for Bart. Just the people that he connected us with, the way that he pushed us and encouraged us to, you know, do merch and to do events. And, you know, he's almost like the mascot, dare I say, of like of the beer world around here. And we're just so excited and proud to be part of this event for him.
Yeah, and even the guy, I mean, like you said, most everyone knows Bart, but I've had a handful of breweries that I spoke with that never met Bart personally, but they've heard of all the awesome stuff and all the great, you know, connection that Bart's made. And I've had a handful of guys that without hesitation said, sign me up 100% for the fest, donate the stipend back. And, you know, in talking with them, I asked him, I said, okay, that's awesome. I said, you know, you must be really close with Bart. And a couple of times I got the response, no, I don't know Bart at all. I've just heard how great of a person he is. So that just goes to show you how, you know, his legacy has traveled around this, our state in the beer world. So,
well, that restored a little bit of my faith in humanity.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And yeah, like, the beer world and like the collaboration beer you guys are doing, you know, breweries in Pennsylvania, not the Facebook group specifically, but in general, I've always been great at coming together for good causes, and something like this, especially when it hits so close to home. It's not, you know, I mean, we all know that all these breweries are going to come out and represent, and it's really amazing to see that. And
I'm excited for the event. This is going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be for a good cause and a good guy, just a damn good guy.
We're going to knock it out of the park, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I don't doubt that at all.
I could touch on what you did just mention and I guess give a teaser of the next participant, which is not a brewery. It is the breweries in PA who is collabing with us in order to pour a beer at the festival.
Nice, right? Good. I'm glad they're doing that. That's amazing.
Yeah, and they're going to be a great marketing tool for us to help promote ticket sales, and so we're excited to have them on board. Tattered Flag has a really good relationship with those guys. So
yeah,
very cool.
Yeah,
and Justin, can you mention what kind of beer that is? Because I know some people on here might get excited about it.
It is going to be a dry hopped Pilsner.
Oh, okay. That's not where I thought that was going, but that does sound nice.
And they're not going to be able to hold their tongue too long. They're super excited about it. So I can tell you briefly, it's going to be called Hard to Swallow. So Hard to Swallow pills, and all over the label it's going to have little pills that say like checking in beers on Untapped when you're over 45 isn't cool anymore. Or
I love this.
Oh, that's funny.
You should print out some of the stupid check-ins that people write on Untapped and plaster.
Oh yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's I was kicking some out the other day, and they're like, "Ah, man, you're kind of brutal." And I was like, "We'll see which ones we decide to put on the can." But we're gonna. Cool. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's links are gonna be all around for our stuff where you can get tickets. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure if you just look at any one of the breweries who we just mentioned, or Hopheads, or even Tattered Flag, like we're all going to promote the hell out of this. So you will have a very easy way to find tickets, and you should get one.
Yeah,
you should get a bunch.
With everyone,
buy every ticket you can.
Everyone that we're talking about that's involved, all the different breweries and other establishments that are coming together for this, you'll find that on their social medias. Everybody's promoting it, everybody's pushing it. You'll see it in the show notes. You go to hopheadsgear.com. I don't know if we said that. There's tickets to buy there. And then there's direct links to the ticket sales all over the place. So, yeah, it's definitely not hard to find your way to a ticket, so please do.
Dean, I have to ask you an off-the-record but kind of on-the-record question.
Sure.
That raffle, what do I have to do to make sure that you pull my ticket for the monitor? I'm going to need a new monitor soon.
I'll have to get back to you on that. Paul's kind of been the one handling the raffle
shit,
part
I'm
of things.
screwed
So
then.
I'll put in a good word for you, but he'll be the one to have to get back to you. So
all right. Paul, if this happens, I promise we won't run out of time next time.
Those are some pretty amazing raffle prizes you talked about earlier. That's really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we didn't have a chance to talk about the beer that.
There's still a little bit left here, but we did. Yeah, Dan and I did just finish this.
Mine's empty.
This awesome Pilsner from Tattered Flag. So we've talked a lot about the event. I'm sure it'll come up again, but we should also talk a little bit about Tattered Flag while we have you here, Justin. And we are sipping on the, what is it called? Something Daddy.
It was
Basic
the
Dad.
Basic Dad Pilsner. I love. Speaking of artwork, I love this artwork. Is that it looks like.
I struggled with that artwork for so long. We use artists from all over the globe, and I run into a lot of language barriers. So things that we use as common sayings, people from other countries are like, "What the hell are you talking about?" It was actually supposed to be called Dad Bod, and the owner just kept I don't know if he either misunderstood me or he hated that I was calling it Dad Bod, and he just pulled rank on me. But he was still helping out doing labels at that point in time before he went on his deployment. But yeah, just going back and forth. I was like, no, I just want like hairy legs with like denim shorts showing at the top, wearing some New Balances and like a freshly mowed lawn. And that did not translate for so long. There's so many edits on that beer label. But then we finally got it to come to fruition. So
nice. Well, I'm glad you did because it's really nice. I'm very much enjoying it.
And the beer itself is pretty fantastic too.
Thank you.
It's a nice, crisp, light, easy drinking Pilsner. It's exactly what you need on a hot July night when your air conditioner isn't exactly doing its job.
Yeah, and we should mention it's a pretty crushable 4.8%. And I do see in the notes here, is it gluten reduced?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, so we used what is it called?
Double Eagle pennyback pills.
Well, we did use our Double Eagle pills. That's why it has the PA preferred check mark on it.
Is it oh god, what's the
the Brewer's Clarix?
Brewer's
Is that what you're
Clarix.
talking about?
It's
the clarified
the stuff that okay.
Yep, I was like Clearsol. I was like, what is it called?
Lysol, Windex. It's one of those.
It's called Clarex, but it actually does not in any way promote any clarity in the beer.
Right.
It does. It is an enzyme that will kind of gobble up the complex sugars.
Right.
I years and years and years ago wrote an article on the website about gluten-free beers. At the time, my girlfriend was celiac, her and her sister. So we were doing the podcast. Girlfriend would come along, and like she couldn't have any of the beers. So like I made it a mission to find stuff that she could drink, and I wrote a whole article about it because I found out about the Brewer's Clarix and what goes into that, and like what actually happens in it. I love that it was designed originally for chill haze, but the ancillary benefit that they didn't even want to go for was that it reduces the gluten. It just breaks down the proteins or whatever it is that causes it. And it puts it under the threshold in most cases that it could technically be considered, quote, gluten-free, because gluten-free isn't actually...
I was super surprised to see that because by tasting it, I never would have thought, like, usually with the gluten-reduced or gluten-free, when you brew a beer in some non-traditional way to, like, remove an ingredient or something, there's a taste. Like, you can tell there's something different about it. And I never would have thought if I hadn't looked down at the notes because I was like, oh, it's gluten-reduced.
Yeah, we actually got put onto that from a brewery in Denver that we collab with. Fiction Brewing Company.
Cool.
They actually hold a variety of gold medals from GABF, And when we went out there, we kind of hit it off with them and we dropped off some sours. The sours that we do, which are more along the lines of like the Burley Oak style or like the Dreams. And they were like, what the hell is this? How did you do this? And can you show us, please? So we flew back out and collabed with them. We made a carrot cake sour, which they just brewed again. And they said it's one of their best-selling beers they've ever made. We brewed it here, and we sat on it forever. Couldn't sell it.
Carrot cake sour.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very intrigued.
Karate cake with a K.
Karate cake.
I'm very intrigued.
That's cool.
Do you have any of that left?
No, it took me forever to sell through that.
Man, I was hoping you would have had like one left that I can grab next month when we're there.
They were so worried. I mean, I could get some shipped from Denver.
I mean, don't know. I mean,
I won't argue. They literally just brewed it.
I won't argue if it shows up in time for the event. However, don't go out of your way for it.
I'll see what I can do. I get so many notifications on our social media that we were just tagged from somebody in Denver who tried it, and it's still kind of a new to a lot of the craft beer community out there to try these crazy things that the East Coast is doing daily. Yeah. And, we expect to see them in breweries, and Denver is just so traditional with their beer that it's very obscure, but seemingly welcomed overall.
Good.
People are really thrilled about it.
Awesome.
So people have nothing but great things to say about that beer.
Nice. Steph, if I get a DeLorean to your house, can you go back to last week and grab me some?
Sure.
Okay. Cool.
I mean, I'd gladly go back to Denver.
Cool. Gas up the car now. I'll pay for the first tank.
Yes.
Oh, only the first tank?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, only the first.
Do you know how many fills it takes to get to Denver?
Yeah, it's
a lot.
Just to drive around Denver, that place is huge.
Yeah, I've never been.
We drove from Pennsylvania to Denver then drove around Denver and then drove back home to Pennsylvania.
I explain it to people, and I'm like, how we have like Harrisburg and Lancaster? Yeah, I was like, that's just all Denver.
Yeah, and Harrisburg and Lancaster are not close.
No, that's quite a distance.
Yeah. Like, we're gonna go to this brewery in Denver, and it's like an hour and 15-minute Uber ride.
Oh wow!
We're like, are we going to another state? And they're like, no, it's still just all Denver.
Wow. That's weird.
That's crazy.
Hey, this is really strange.
I never would have thought that town was that big. Like somewhere like L.A., you hear is it's all sprawled out. Like, yeah, it's huge. But Denver, I figured that was compact. I never would have thought it was that big.
The problem is there's just so many breweries out there, and you just you just don't have the capacity to hit all of them. So prioritizing is probably the most stressful thing about visiting Denver.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, obviously, Beershot's got to be on the list. And
Ashley gave me a really solid list of places to check out. Because I've been to Denver several times before. So there are, of course, the ones I wanted to go back to, but I wanted to check some new ones. And always ask the local brewers out there. They know where to send you, because every brewery she told me to go to was freaking amazing.
I mean, my rule of thumb is to ask you whenever I go anywhere what breweries I should go to.
I mean, that's probably a good idea.
True.
And if you want food suggestions, you ask Rich.
In-N-Out.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, not in Denver, but still.
Oh, no, they're in Colorado now. There are 3 in Colorado, 2 in the Denver metro area and 1 in Colorado Springs.
Oh, that's right.
And we were at 2 of them because the third one only opened since we came home. It just opened a few days ago.
That's right. I forgot he posted you guys were there. Enough about...
No, they waited to open until Rich was home because he was going to eat everything. I was actually going to say, since we long ago throughout the conventions of tasting order, and we talked about Where's the Haze Bart, let's drink Where's the Haze Bro.
Ooh.
Can I tell you, so I want to say that I love that West Coast IPAs are cool over in the East Coast again. Right now in Denver, everyone is making Mexican lagers, and I freaking love it. Literally, every brewery we went to, except for ones that specialize in certain things, had a Mexican lager on. And they're like, yeah, it's just everyone's drinking them this summer, and they love them. Also, I wanted to mention we had a carrot beer when we were in Denver. I wanted to look up what it was called. King of Carrot Flowers. We had it at Ratio. And the fun that we were at, the brewery we were at prior to Ratio, the woman behind the bar, she asked, where are you going next? We're like, we're going to Ratio. She said, you have to have this carrot beer they have on. You're going to think it's really weird, but it was my favorite beer I've ever had from there. And Oh yeah, and the Kolsch with the Meyer. Oh, it was Mockery. Their Kolsch was really freaking good. But this carrot beers are apparently, you've started a revolution in Denver,
I guess
Justin.
so.
They're all putting carrots in their beers out there.
Justin, this beer is delicious, man. By the way, just wanted
Very
to
nice.
throw that out there.
This is
I
the
just
first
love the name of it.
IPA I ever made in my homebrew and/or professional carear.
Wow.
That's good.
I hated West Coast IPAs, and I was like, I'm not making one.
Well, I'm glad you did because I'm really enjoying it too.
One day I just got bored of making all the same, New Englands over and over, and Tattered Flag went through a weird phase where they were like, before I was the head brewer, they were like, let's make everything in New England. They tried to make a New England Kolsch. They wanted to make like a New England style. What did they do? A New England style pumpkin beer, maybe?
Oh no!
Oh my god!
I shouldn't be surprised. That sounds
New England
terrible.
style Oktoberfest, was it?
Even worse.
New
I don't know. It
England
was just- I
style
was like,
barrel
stop,
aged.
Like, you can't just dump oats in everything and call it New England. Like it's getting annoying. Like people are. Or no, it was a New England style Irish red. That was the weirdest one.
That's
And
weird,
that's
yeah.
when they were like, "Yeah, we should stop."
Yeah.
That's enough.
I mean, there gets to be a point where you just say, fuck it, I'll have like clam chowder because I'm tired of the New England everywhere else.
And none of. I don't know what was going on. It was weird. It was awkward, and I'm glad that it was like the teenage gothic phase, and we went through it, and luckily it didn't last long. We still have like those weird pair of pants with the straps.
Just as a throwback.
Done and over with.
Oh, cool.
This is delicious, though. It's got.
Thank you.
There's the hoppiness. It's got a nice, dare I say, malt backbone. Is a thing we don't get to say much anymore. And the artwork again, man. Like you have a stereotypical hipster on there with a magnifying glass looking for the haze. It's spot on.
That is pretty good. I do prefer the Bart version, though.
You'd be surprised how many people don't actually read. Well, you wouldn't be surprised how many people don't actually read. Sounds like you guys are on the same page I am with humanity. But the amount of people that I hear walk up and go, "Oh, I have the haze."
Nope.
And then they get it, and you can see them look at it like the
They
guy.
ask, "Where's the haze?"
I was gonna say, yeah. How many people actually ask?
And the bar, beer staff hands the glass.
But where's the haze? I
guess
paid
I'll
for the
drink
haze.
it.
I guess I'll drink it, yeah.
Dude, this beer is literally to make fun of you.
Right.
That's funny. Surprised this isn't a Stickman beer.
Anyway, this would be an Ethan beer.
It's really good, though.
Thank you.
Like you say, it's hard to come across good, like what are now old school IPAs, even though West Coast used to be the new thing.
Yeah.
It's not anymore, and it's cool. I feel like we've seen a little bit of a blowback to the haze craze. I mean, we've talked about that for a very long time. We don't have to relitigate it all, but it's cool to come across these kind of beers again. They're very, very nice.
Part of me wonders if it's like a pendulum, though, and if it's going to swing back and haze is going to be like the super duper popular again. Like, well, where is there equilibrium, or does it just keep going? Like, we go back and forth between one and the next.
Everything's a pendulum, really.
Yeah,
True.
I mean, I like to think I'm pretty creative, and I'm kind of running out of stuff to come up with.
I think the big thing, and I like seeing this at breweries now, is like you can get traditional style and true to style beers because there isn't a whole lot of room for creativity with your beers bunch anymore because there was a boom and a lot of the shit's been done already. Yeah. So not only are the hazy ones a dime a dozen at least. It's just somebody's thrown every adjunct that they can. Somebody's thrown every fruit that they can into it. Somebody's played with every different variation of yeast. And I'm sure somebody's going to cultivate, new strains here and there that are going to do fantastic things. And same thing with hops. But there gets to be a point where you just can't do anything else anymore. So then you revert back to the traditional ones. And then that is, I think, that's what I want to see more out of beer, and I think we're still getting to the point, but I really wonder what's going to happen after that. After people are sick of the traditional ones, they want to go back to all the crazy shit.
Yeah, but you got a while to wait because how long was craft beer becoming mainstream before we got to hazies?
Oh, that's true. I mean, that was within the past 2-3 years.
Yeah, and But yeah, I think it is cyclical. Like I think there is sort of a pushback against that style now, and I think that's going to have other styles come to the fore. Somebody's going to invent some crazy new thing. Justin, maybe you will be struck by inspiration and be the one to do it. Maybe it'll be a carrot
cake beer, baby.
That's true.
I was going to say
sour.
a dry hopped, hazy carrot cake, barrel aged Irish red.
Although it's just,
I think the next thing somebody's going to do is you're going to see a small boom on sour seltzers.
yeah, I could kind of see that happening. Yeah.
Good sour seltzers are going to be a boom. And I have no interest in pursuing it because we're a distillery too. Like,
Right.
we can make vodka sodas way easier than I can make
That's true.
seltzers.
Seltzer, yeah.
So
That's true.
why fight the battle? You know.
Yeah. Well, speaking of things like, vodka sodas, you guys package those now, right?
Oh yeah, we just bought a whole canning line dedicated to the 12-ounce slim cans.
That's awesome.
Just to package canned cocktails.
That's really
And
cool.
we're just cranking them out like almost daily. I come in. I'm not a morning person, so I come in like an hour later than everybody else. I just stay later. And the distiller's down there just pumping out cans in the morning. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I was like, "I'm gonna go brew. Like, I don't deal with your. I'll help if they need it, but I was like, you do your thing, I'll do mine." So,
You guys can a lot of different cocktails.
yeah, we just released 2 or 3 new ones in the past week.
I like a Pennsyltucky lemonade,
Yeah, I saw
Yeah.
that name.
It's our bourbon
Pens-
lemonade.
That sounds good.
vodka soda with lime, which is less than 100 calories. I think that's worth mentioning. Flagarita, vodka cranberry, hurricane, Moscow mule, and you'll soon be canning hard apple pie cocktail. I'm
Wait,
not sure how I
what?
feel about that.
What?
Rum and cola and PA Dutch hard birch beer.
Yes.
Whoa. Whoa.
Birch beer. I
Whoa.
love birch beer.
The hard apple pie is our biggest seller. It was actually a cocktail I made at the bar and for just our fall seasonal cocktail menu, and people loved it. So we started packaging it when we did our first canning run, and people still kind of bitch at us that we don't have it in stock. Like a lot of bars and vineyards carry those products, and just had a call today. Like, did you get that back in stock yet? And I was like, no. He's like, all right, I guess I'll take the Pennsyltucky whatever. Like,
Oh, darn. Well, what's in the apple one? I'm curious.
it is apple cider. Our apple pie moonshine, apple cider, ginger ale, and graham cracker extract.
Oh my God.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want that.
Yeah, I'd be interested to try
Yeah.
that.
We served it in like little mason jars with a cinnamon sugar rim.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, cool.
Justin, when you make these cocktails, are they like carbonated, or how do you what's the process there with canning them up? I mean, is it just literally put in cans and that's it, or is there like a special method that you guys use for them, or how
There
do
is
you?
a low level of carbonation. I mean, he basically just uses bright tanks just like the brewery would, and just builds scales up a cocktail. 1 ounce of this and this much juice and whatever times 64 gallons, or 2 barrels approximately. So
Cool.
he just scales it up, so it's like 3 or 4 gallons of whatever spirit, and then the mixers, and then we just mix it up. We recirculate it to mix it up really well, and then just put it under a low level of carbonation, so that just like the can just kind of does the soda tisk when it opens. Our vodka soda does have a higher level of carbonation, and that's going to roll out a whole extension of flavored variants of that.
Yeah.
The first one was just vodka soda with a hint of lime. So it is, it's not like super flavorful, but it's just crisp and refreshing. And, if you want an alcoholic drink in the evening, in this sun and cool you off, it's great.
I haven't.
But I'm excited for the flavored ones to come
That's
out.
cool. I have another kind of selfish question. Will the hard birch beer be available by the time the event rolls around?
Yes, I think he's doing it next week.
I want some of that.
And
So
Dan, you can
actually-
have this stuff shipped to you.
Yes,
Yes.
I know. Yeah, I loved the packaging that you were kind enough to send us beer, and it's amazing. And thank you again for that. But yeah, people can buy your stuff online. I'm guessing.
We ship statewide beer and spirits, and we can mix and match your package. We ship bottles of our liquor, our canned cocktail 4-packs, beer by the 4-pack. We do have a low level barreled bottle program right now, which can actually kind of segue into our Lancaster location.
Yeah.
You guys go with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
Let's hear about it.
The Barrel House.
I was very excited to hear about this.
Yeah, so Lancaster will be opening maybe 4 to 5 weeks from now.
Oh wow!
It's some of the exclusive points on that. It is smaller. Ground floor is our tap room. We are going to have a kitchen there. We're kind of operating with like a deli style kitchen. So think of like an upscale Subway or like a big city sandwich shop. Keep it simple, keep it good. In order to save space, we will have a self-serve pour my beer wall. So you'll touch the screen and get charged by the ounce.
Oh, cool.
So you do pour your own beer. There won't be bartenders, so you just, it's interactive. It's kind of fun, as long as you're not like grouchy about having to walk over there.
I mean,
and then obviously we are going to have, I'd have 2 bright tanks there. We're going to have at least 18 to 20 barrels filled with beer to start, and we'll see what we can fit in there after I get my initial amount of barrels filled and ready to roll. And we'll have a bottling line there. So I'm thinking of doing a barrel program. Some of you may be familiar. I did mention earlier I previously worked for Springhouse, and they did like their Skull program. We'll be doing something similar to that, to like an exclusive barrel program in addition to releasing a variety of just barrel-aged beers kind of monthly at least. A couple cool collabs that I've already done. Some have been released. One actually was going to announce today. The other brewery doesn't even know I packaged it yet, but we brewed a really cool tequila barrel-aged kettle sour.
Whoa.
That was then conditioned on key lime. And then another version was conditioned on key lime and strawberry to make strawberry margarita and a regular margarita. And I'll actually grab that bottle right now because I think it's cold, and if I need speed to open it up and drink it.
All right, fair enough.
My fridge is just right outside of the.
Oh my god,
that sounds amazing.
And by the way, because obviously we're the only ones that can see this until the game,
Yes.
Remember, youtube.com/beerbusterspodcast. Justin's background's pretty fucking great, and I thought it was a brewery or a tap room or something. No, it's his basement. It's his giant, elaborate setup that is in this man's basement, and I'm extremely jealous of it.
It's pretty cool, yeah. It's pretty sweet. Well, if he's grabbing, you still have a bigger glass than me.
Man, you
Dan.
went. Okay.
Well, I'm just drinking like a 5 ounce.
True.
Oh, Chef
So
Rita.
here we have a really cool artist. She is from, I want to say Brazil. She's from somewhere in South America. So this is the non-strawberry version. I have yet to package the strawberry margarita version. And if you see here on the side, it is a collab with Mad Chef.
Mad
Ooh,
Chef.
yay.
Chef Hat
Yes.
Hop.
So again, we put together a kettle sour, aged it in a tequila barrel, and then conditioned it shortly on some key lime before packaging it up, and it came out awesome.
Yeah.
I'm really thrilled with it.
That sounds amazing. I wish I could taste it through the screen.
Man,
Thanks for the bottles of that one there, buddy.
I just grabbed this on my way out of the brewery today. I was like, oh, that'd be cool to kind of share as we talk about the Lancaster location.
Yeah.
Yeah, a little bit.
Other collabs that I did with
Bean is salty.
all with Lancaster-based breweries.
Much like
I'm
a
from
margarita.
Lancaster. I live in Hummelstown now. But we did a rye bourbon barrel-aged Scotch wheat heavy called Armistice Ale. We did that with Cox Brewing Company. It was already. We did a beer with a cigar shop in Lancaster, DNS Cigar. We
cool.
took tobacco leaves and put them in the smoker with our malt, and then did a smoked wheat lager and then blended it with a double IPA that was aging in a Lafroig Scotch barrel. So we did that for DNS Cigars anniversary.
How great did that smell while you were brewing it?
That was awesome.
God damn.
That beer came out so good. It almost came out like just a slightly smoked, like a little bit of a heavy flavor, and then it kind of finishes with a subtle Scotch dryness. It's like the perfect cigar beer.
Justin, could you explain that again? You said like 12 different things in one beer. Could you?
Once
and it sounds awesome. I'm just trying to like grasp the concept of it.
Yes, we actually we took some tobacco leaves that our distiller had, because he goes to all these tobacco expos and meets like big name like guys that hand roll cigars, and so he got some leaves. I don't recall where from, but we smoked the tobacco leaves with our wheat malt.
Wow.
And then we brewed on our pilot system a smoked wheat. I just went in the cooler and figured out, I was like, hey, what yeast do I have? And we did, I was like, let's do this lager yeast and pitch this. So fermented it with a lager yeast, let it lager for a couple weeks, and then blended it with and we had plans to do the Lafroig barrel. We had this double IPA that I just threw in there one day. It was the second time we filled that barrel. So I was like, we already kind of got our value out of this Scotch barrel. So if this double IPA doesn't turn out awesome, then we'll pitch it. It was actually a beer we brewed forever ago called Hey Ho, which is like a Belgian double West Coasty IPA. It wasn't the best after the Lafroig barrel, but after blending it down to the right ratio, it was pretty killer. So again, we released that for a cigar shop's anniversary, and it's a perfect cigar beer. The tobacco, you get a little bit of tobacco smokiness up front, finishes nice dry, peat moss from the Lafroig Scotch.
And Justin, let me just ask you real quick. Can I assume that's the same cigar guys we have lined up for the festival?
That's absolutely correct. DNS Cigar, those guys are killer. They are happy to help with any event that we host. I usually just tell them what I'm doing, and they're like, count us in, we'll figure it out later.
Very cool. Dan's very excited. He's a bourbon and cigar guy.
You're driving that day.
Oh, boy. I'll talk Jess into driving.
All right, good. We'll use her car. I'll pay for gas.
There you go. Yeah, so that'll be available. We already released that, and then we sold out of it, with the exception of we held 2 cases of all of our barrel-aged beer, especially all these collabs, for when we open our Lancaster Barrel House, and we'll kind of have a cellar sale as part of our opening weekend.
Oh, that's cool.
All these bottles will be available in limited quantity. Again, so I think I mentioned 2 there. I don't want to go on forever. We have a coconut stout aged in a rum barrel. That was with a Lancaster brewery. We have a Belgian triple that was aged in a Chardonnay barrel and then blended with a mead called Valor. So it's a very premium mead that was aged in a bourbon barrel and then aged secondly in a maple syrup barrel and blended with our triple.
Wow.
From a Lancaster-based meadery.
Whoa.
Yeah, there's some other ones. I'm drawing a blank, but we got some really cool stuff coming out.
Well, yeah.
You weren't joking when you said you get bored, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, well, I guess keep an eye out for that opening, because that sounds like there's going to be a lot of really cool stuff going on there.
We'll definitely make sure the announcements are loud and clear. I'm really excited. I'm from Lancaster, so it's kind of been a little bit more of a passion project for me than any of our other locations that we put effort into getting open.
That's awesome. You guys have a separate Instagram page for that location. I was kind of creeping on that and seeing the pictures. The space itself looks incredible. I can't wait to check that out. And I do have to mention, so you guys also recently announced another upcoming location. So you're going to have a total of 5 locations soon.
That's
which
correct.
Like first of all, blows my mind. You already have the main location, of course, in Middletown. There's the tap room in Gettysburg, the distillery lounge in Hershey, and now we've been talking about the Barrel House in Lancaster. But you guys also just announced that you're going to be opening at the Hollywood Casino at Penn National Racecourse. So that will be 5 locations.
Yes, with the 5th one, all but doubling the first 4 in capacity.
Wow. Jeez. That's cool. Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome to see expansion like that. And
yeah, and you guys are looking for a cellarman job.
That's really cool. And the Hollywood Casino and the horse racing that's there, that's a great spot to be. I went there once for a friend's bachelor party before his wedding, because that's obviously when a bachelor party is, duh. And it was really cool there, and there were a decent amount of drinks, but I would have really liked to have something like Tattered Flag there. I mean, that's awesome.
Now, were you in the skybox there?
Oh god, this was 2013, 2014, and I have drank away that memory since, so I don't know.
Our location, I mean, you literally enter through one wall, and there's no other walls. You're on a floating balcony that overlooks the entire.
Okay. Yep. Okay.
So that's where we're gonna be. They are opening. Our tentative opening day is the Journey concert that they're hosting at National. So I'd like to see us open a few days prior to that to get our feet wet.
I've actually seen Journey live, and they put on a pretty amazing show.
They really do. I haven't seen them with this singer, but I've seen them with the last guy, and I think I saw him once with Steve Perry, and it's always been great. Yeah, that's a good spot to be in. That's really cool that you can get that level of local beverage there.
Oh yeah, we're really excited.
That level of local beverage.
Hollywood Casino is really promoting a large scale. I mean, they're nationwide, and they're promoting a veteran program called My Heroes, and it's really just a gigantic give back for veterans alike, across the country. They're gonna have like rewards cards for people that play the casino games, limited access to concerts. I mean, some of them will be invitation only to veterans. You show a veteran ID, you get into the concert for free. If you're not a veteran, you don't see that concert. I mean, they're kind of going to that level with some of this stuff. So they're kind of I feel like they're kind of launching the program out of the Penn National Racecourse location in Grantville, and for them it was kind of a no-brainer to follow up with us. Some of you may know we were fortunate to be recipients of some of the Barstool Sports funding for small businesses affected by the pandemic. And I mean, to be totally transparent, Hollywood Casino was one of the big supporters that kind of nudged Barstool Sports to look at some veteran locations. They said, hey, we're going to make a very generous donation to Barstool Sports to this fund. We'd like you to start taking a look at some smaller veteran-owned businesses as you continue what you're doing.
That's very cool.
That's, I think, how we kind of came into being fortunate enough to receive some of that that support.
Awesome. Well, yeah, that sounds like a perfect joining there for a collaboration. Yeah, that's awesome. That's an amazing program.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, very much so.
Can I venture to be an agent of chaos for a second?
Yeah.
I just cracked out. I didn't crack it open. I just pulled out a hazy double dry top double IPA.
Oh,
anyone?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you have it out. We might as well.
Let's do it. So this is Mercenaries of Justice Keyboard Commando, if I'm reading it correct.
Mercenaries of Juice.
It's label.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
It's the best.
Yeah, the sloth.
So our Mercenaries of Juice series is it's more of just a fun artwork series where we just obviously we're veteran owned. Full disclosure, I am not a veteran, and I have a ton of support for veterans, but I found myself doing a lot of animal-based charities. The owner's like, why don't you ever want to do any veteran stuff? He's like, why do I have to like pursue it all? And I was like, I don't know, man. Just like when I think of charity, I think dogs.
Right.
I was like, people hate people, and veterans are great, but they're still people. I said nobody hates dogs. Like, so I go that route, and he's like, well, let's combine the two in a fun series. So we do animals in military gear. We've done a couple. It's just, again, an artwork series. So all we do is we just write MOJ on a lot of different beers. One up and coming, I'm really excited about. Hopefully my boss, the owner, Pat, doesn't watch this podcast. He'd probably kill me if I tell this story in too much detail. But essentially, we're doing one I have coming up is called Trash Nachos. And it's a SEAL. He is a Navy SEAL. It's a SEAL with like a Navy hat, just shoveling nachos in his face, and it's kind of making fun of Pat from when we were at GABF, and he was feeling pretty buzzed and just started going ham on some nachos that may or may not have been sitting on the table from the previous guests, and were pretty gross looking.
Wow.
And I was like, dude, you can't eat these trash nachos. And he's like, don't tell me how to live my life.
I love knowing this side of Pat. I love it.
I made a beer label called Trash Nachos, and it has a SEAL shoveling nachos in his face. And that'll be one of the next installments of the Mercenaries of Juice series. Again, it's all kind of fun. So
That's cool. That sounds like a lot of fun. That's cool. For a hazy beer, it's not bad. Not my favorite style, so I always have to say that. But I mean,
it's okay.
I don't hate it.
What was even in that one? El Dorado, Sabro and Galaxy, I think. I can't even.
That is
Yes.
correct, according
That
to the
is
notes that I
correct.
have. According to the notes that Steph put up on the drive for us, that is correct.
Okay. All right. I guessed right. We just released one of our very popular hazies. It's almost like a once a year, the Double Knife Fight in Space.
Oh,
which
cool.
is a imperial version of our house IPA is called Knife Fight in a Phone Booth, which is actually a military reference for like two planes dogfighting in like the World War II or World War I era
Oh, okay.
in like a smaller space.
Right.
So that's just Citra Mosaic, 5.5% hazy IPA, and then Double Knife Fight in Space is the addition of Galaxy, and then obviously a larger grain bill to promote an 8% ABV. I actually went on yesterday when I wanted to promote it on our social media. I found some like Star Wars font generator, and I had to type up this stupid story off the top of my head, making fun of like Star Wars, but using like the Citras and the Mosaics were battling the lupulins from the Galaxy. I don't know what I just started going in on it, and then at the end it's like you have to pay $10 to use this.
Oh man. Well, I mean, that's why you can take a screenshot of it. Was it watermarked?
Yeah. Well, I didn't. Well, no, because it scrolls up like the Star Wars font.
Oh,
and
okay.
it goes
Yeah,
up
you
in the triangle.
Oh, I figured you just
So if
wanted
you look
like.
at our social media,
okay.
you'll see it.
Okay.
That's
And it actually plays the Star Wars theme song. So it cost me $10 out of my own pocket. I just did pay for lunch today.
fair enough.
Nice. And the best thing about the space one is that could be a future-proof one and be a charity for future Space Force veterans.
There we go. We actually made a beer called Space Force.
Nice.
We made it as a GABF entry, and it had like just a bunch of little hop characters on an old pirate ship that had like jet boosters on it.
Nice. Very nice.
It's Space Pirates.
Oh boy.
Sorry, episode of Futurama.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, this is good. I know, like Wayne said, we're not the biggest fans of hazies, but I like it. There's like a smokiness in there, which I really enjoy. And didn't, Steph? I see you giving me that look. Do you not get that? Do you get that?
Not really, but I wasn't going to say anything. I mean, I was going to say I think it tastes a little bit better.
Back off the screen after hearing about the cigar.
Yep, I'm still back in the cigars.
I think that's what it is.
Could be the Sabro.
Could be.
One of the characteristics of Sabro is like wood like reed. To me, I get like a musician or musical instrument reed.
Yeah,
flavor.
Okay. Yeah.
Wow, I haven't tasted that flavor since I was in like 5th grade. I used to
Right,
play
nobody
saxophone
has.
for a little bit. Yeah.
I didn't know you played
My
saxophone.
only reference. To
Yeah.
That one time when like I tried the violin and hated that, so I tried one other thing and I was like, no, not for me.
Gave it your
Sabro
best.
tastes like
That's what saffron
No.
tastes like.
diminished ambitions as a 5th grader.
Diminished ambition.
Boy.
Am I the only person that still plays my elementary instrument?
Yes.
I have my elementary instrument downstairs in the basement, but I haven't touched it in 15 years.
Guitar wasn't an option. I wanted to play the guitar, and I thought the saxophone was the next coolest thing, and I hated it. I only did it for a couple
What instrument is that, Steph?
I have played the flute for 30 years.
That's right. You're a very good flautist. I've been to some of your shows.
My son just told me he wants to play the drums.
Oh, good
No,
luck.
Don't do it.
I know. I told him to stick to the ukulele that we have for him. That's enough.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
No,
that's a lot
please
quieter.
encourage your child to play music. It's a very, very positive.
Totally, just not drums.
Well, yeah.
How about the vibroslap?
All right, John McCrae.
Oh boy.
Hey, my vibroslap is autographed by John McCrae. Thank
Okay,
you
that
very
is
much.
pretty cool. That is cool. John McCrae, for anyone who doesn't know, lead singer of the band Cake. And when they play those songs, he plays the vibroslap, and that's like his instrument.
I mean,
He's
who
actually a
doesn't?
very talented musician. It's not the only instrument he plays, but
But that's like the one that everybody knows
Kinda
he
what
plays,
he's known
besides
for.
doing like the sing-songy vocals that are very unique and great. But yeah, the vibroslap's like, that's his John.
They sing that racing song, right?
Yes.
That racing song.
That racing song, yes. That's the one that popped into my head, right? That's the one that starts with the vibroslap, right? Am I thinking of the right song?
No, you're thinking Short Skirt, Long Jacket. That starts
That's
with
what
a
I'm
vibroslap, right?
thinking.
there's a lot of Cake songs that
I mean,
start
there's
with a
lots
vibroslap.
of
Yeah, but I mean, that's like a popular one.
This
Wait, so
episode sponsored by
vibroslap
Cake.
is an actual instrument?
Yes. It's a percussion instrument.
I believe you.
It makes a fun sound.
He's been making it up this whole time.
Right?
I believe
I
you.
believe
he
you.
says.
Check that out right after this podcast. So.
I mean, I wouldn't be offended if you just Googled it on your phone real quick.
Oh my god.
It's a very pressing issue. We can look it up on Wayne's computer. We'll share the screen.
It's just a fun word to say. I mean,
It is. That's
True.
That is true.
Well, shall we transition into a game? Perhaps?
Oh, do we feel like playing a
Yeah,
game?
fun.
Is
I
that what we're
always
doing?
feel like playing a game.
Go. Cheers, Internet, and welcome to Happy Fun Time Games, the podcast trivia segment that knows exactly where the haze is. Today, I thought, since we're talking about our good friend, amazing human being, and self-professed metalhead, Bartly Kaminski, I thought we'd play appropriately a cousin of libation or fabrication that I'm calling Beer or Metal Band. So this is a game in which I'm going to give you the name of a thing, and you have to decide whether that's the name of a beer or the name of a metal band. Now, I should, for our YouTube watchers, introduce our contestants. Of course, playing against my co-hosts Dan and Steph, we have Dean Pierce and Justin Hoke. Justin from Tattered Flag, Dean Pierce from being the Dean of Beer generally. They will be competing for glory in today's Happy Fun Time game. So that's what we're doing, and let's start as we always do. To my left with Dan. Tell me, is this a name of a band, a metal band, or the name of a beer? It is Bone Shaker.
Oh, God. I'm so conflicted. I'm going to... I agree. I agree.
I think he said beer.
I'm gonna go beer.
All right, Dan has said beer, conferring with the canines in the room. Steph, what do you think?
I'm also going to say beer.
Steph is saying beer. Dean?
So you said Bone Shaker.
Correct.
Okay.
You say it with a B or like phone shaker?
No, I said it with a B.
Bone.
Oh, I heard phone.
And you're not going to give us the kind of beer that it hypothetically could be.
Hypothetically.
Nah.
Okay. I am going. And what did the other two say so far?
So far, we have 2 votes for beer.
All right, I say metal band.
All right, Dean is saying band, and finally Justin.
I'm gonna look too deep into that. Nah. and say that it is a beer that you don't want to tell us about.
Oh, okay, I like when we
that's
play
a
psychological
good
games.
strategy.
Yeah, that's always nice. Well, it paid off because you are correct, along with Dan and Steph. It is, in fact,
I have
a beer.
to say, Dean, I was gonna say band, and then you said the dog said beer, so I said beer. So thank you.
Oh, man.
Thank
Wow. The mind games. We're on the first question, and the mind games are there's layers and layers and layers. It's a beer. Bone Shaker is a beer. It's a 7 point.
All my game.
Yeah, that happens. It's an unfiltered IPA, 7.1% ABV. It's from Amsterdam Brewing Company, which is confusingly located in Toronto, Canada.
That makes sense.
It's unfiltered and naturally carbonated. The brewery says Bone Shaker
Carbureted?
is... Or carbureted, who knows. A truly unique taste experience and an award-winning IPA. Expect fresh grapefruit and pine aromas, followed by massive hop flavors.
What was the brewery again?
That is Amsterdam Brewing
Okay.
Company. Moving
Located
on.
in where again?
In Toronto, Canada.
I was trying to think if I had that when I was in Ontario, but
It's very far from Amsterdam, I know that.
well, yeah, definitely. But I don't know if I did that. We went to whatever their liquor store is, and they have a beer there, and they had a craft beer selection, and I couldn't remember if I had that one. I think I saw it, but I don't know if I grabbed it, or at least the brewery, not that beer.
I will say I put that one first because I kind of thought some of you would have heard of it because every time I do research for games, that beer comes up in my searches. So to me, it's like a well-known beer. So I wasn't sure if anyone was going to know the answer off the bat. Moving on to name number 2, and Steph is going to guess first on this one. This one is Destiny Potato.
Metal band.
Steph is saying that is a band. Dean, what do you think?
Band.
All right, agreeing with Steph, going with band. Justin?
I'm gonna have to agree with Dan.
All right. Everybody's saying band so far. Dan, are you going to jump on the bandwagon?
I'm going to say band also because I think the PLCB won't let you say potato if there's no potato in it, and I don't think they would have put potato in it.
That is a very good deduction, and everyone is correct. It's a band.
All right.
Destiny Potato is an experiment.
Hold on. I just wish it was Destiny's potato.
Oh, yeah.
Apostrophe S.
That would have been perfect. We should write to them. But Destiny Potato, in the non-possessive form, is an experimental project from Belgrade, Serbia. They formed in 2010, and after some breakups and lineup changes, released a debut album in 2014. About 3 years ago, it seemed like they changed their name to the equally interesting but not quite as fun Sorted Pink. So you can find them under Destiny Potato or Sorted Pink on the internet.
Where
I chose the
would
potato name.
if it was Destiny's potato, where would that fit in comparison to Destiny's Child?
Well, I would.
I mean, alphabetically, it would come after.
Well, we're not talking alphabetically.
I mean, what are you? Are we?
Oh,
hi.
there's the dog. I need to thank your dog for giving me a correct answer.
He was helping.
Thank you, Pooch.
I brought a chair over so
Aw.
you could sit with.
Oh, what a
God.
cutie! Oh, I love it.
Can you bring him to the event next month? Oh, wait. I think
all kinds of animals
Dean
are
is
happening.
not to be outdone. Moo's already made an appearance. I don't know where she is at the point.
Yes,
but,
she finally found somewhere else to lay
Yeah,
down.
somewhere she didn't need to be curious about.
Yes. Dean has
That
gone
is the
off
cutest puppy ever.
to fed.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Camera shy.
All the
Aw.
doggos today. All the doggos. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, he's been sitting down here next to me looking up, so I brought a chair over for him.
That's
Aw.
awesome.
Awesome. We always welcome dogs and other pets on the podcast.
Sitting down here.
Oh, my God.
So cute. Look at his face. All right. Where were we? Oh, yes. We are moving on to our third name of the game. And Dean, it is your turn to guess first. Is this a band or is it a beer? It is Bongzilla.
I'm going to say that is a beer.
All right. Going with beer, Justin.
Oh, I feel like I've heard of it. In whatever the correct context
possible.
would be.
See, the thing about this game is sometimes there's stuff that I just make up, but in this game, all these things are real.
That's true. Yeah.
Well, let me consult the metal mullet.
There you go.
I'm gonna go band.
All right. Going with band. So we've got a beer and a band. Dan, what do you think?
I think I'm going to say band also. Not only do I think it's a band, I think it's a bad band.
Okay. I guess time will tell. I don't have any audio samples, so I don't know. Steph, you're the last one. What do you think, band or beer?
I'm also going to say band.
All right, we've got 3 bands, 1 beer. Dean, you're the only one who's wrong.
God darn it.
Yeah.
But
What
on
are you
the
gonna
upside, your dog's adorable.
Yeah, there you go. It is, in fact, a band.
He takes after.
Yes, Bongzilla is unsurprisingly a stoner metal band from Madison, Wisconsin. They formed in 1995 and had a solid run until 2009, and they took a hiatus, but they regrouped in 2015 and have been active since. They have a show on August 31st in Bloomington, Illinois, if anyone is interested. I saw it on their Facebook page.
Let's go to Bloomington.
I didn't actually listen to any of these bands, so whether or not they're good, I don't
I'm actually
know.
very curious.
I would be curious. To
Uber?
find out.
Was it Bongzilla?
Bongzilla. All right, moving swiftly along, we come to Justin to guess first on our next name of the game. Is it a band? Is it a beer? This one is Odin's Wrath.
It's definitely got to be a beer.
All right, saying it is a beer. Dan?
I think it's a band. I think it's definitely a band.
Dan is saying it's a band. I don't know if that's a bad poker face or if he just thinks it's funny. Steph.
Well, so
bit of
here's my
both.
predicament. I'd definitely think it's a band, but would you do 3 bands in a row?
Oh, that's a fair point.
Could it be both?
Well,
Ooh.
oh,
Psychology strikes again.
I don't know. I'm going to say band. I've been going with my gut, so I'm going to say it's a band.
all right, fair enough. Dean, much deliberation on this one. What do you think, band or beer? Odin's Wrath.
So, are you guys familiar with Three Floyds
Yes.
Brewery?
Yeah.
So I feel like this game is perfect for them because their beers are either metal and beer.
Yeah.
It's kind of their whole spiel.
I will
I'm
say
just throwing that out there. But
Three
anyways,
Floyds
I think-
has made an appearance on similar games to this for that very reason many times
Totally.
on this podcast.
all their beers are like the perpetual murder of hops or something like
Yeah.
that, or Black Death IPA or something. Anyways, I think this is a beer.
All right. So we've got band, beer. The beers have it.
God
This
damn.
one is a beer. Odin's Wrath, appropriately a mighty 15% ABV Belgian strong golden ale from the aptly named, not Three Floyds, but Barbarian Brewing Company, which is in Garden City, Idaho. There are a couple versions of this beer. One was brewed with 150 pounds of Idaho mango nectarines, and another version was barrel aged with plums and apricots.
Where are they located?
They're in Idaho,
What was the town?
Garden City.
They should have made it as Garden City.
As Garden City. That might be one of their beers. I don't know.
And did you say mango and nectarines or mango nectarines?
It says in the description, it says Idaho mango nectarines, which I assume is a variety of nectarines. My level of research only goes so deep on these things.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if it's grown in Idaho, it probably would be not a mango.
A potato?
I was going to say it's Destiny's potato.
So, yeah.
Destiny's potato. Not from Idaho. Not from Idaho. All right, moving along, we've come to everyone's favorite, our penultimate question of the game, this and one more, and we swing back around to Dan for this one. Our next one is called Supreme Dark.
Too generic to be a band. That's a beer.
All right, Dan is saying that is a beer. Steph, what do you think?
Beer.
Also saying beer. Dean?
I'm going to say Dan.
All right, bucking the trend, going with band. Finally, Justin.
Ooh. I really wanted to go band, but Dean's been so wrong.
So you should totally say band.
I'm gonna stick with my gut, which is band.
Okay, so we've got a 50-50 split. We've got Dan and Steph saying beer, Dean and Justin saying band. My fellow beer busters are correct because it is, in fact, a beer. Yes.
That'll teach you.
There you go. That's what you get. That's what you get. Yes, technically, the full name is Deluxe Supreme Dark Beer, and it was brewed by the South Bethlehem Brewing Company, which no bonus points for guessing where that is. or was. It opened in 1901 and ran till 1920, and then reopened in 1933 and closed permanently in 1954. So this is an old beer that's not around anymore.
Wow.
Yeah, I couldn't find much information on the beer itself. It's safe to assume it was supremely dark. Lots of old packaging on eBay, though, if you're interested.
Okay, well, I'm going to throw a flag on that right now because you didn't tell us the full name of the beer. If you would have put the first part in there, I would have said beer.
That's why I didn't. I'm sure it's a little unfair, but it doesn't matter. There's no prize for winning this game.
Yeah.
I accept.
Like, listen, I've been typing all these into an Untapped, and you didn't give me the right name.
Exactly. It's like, where's the Haze Bro, right?
Yeah.
So exactly.
Traditionally, at this point, we add up the scores, see where everyone is standing, so we can determine the order for the last question, so we can give an advantage to the person who is in last place, which is, if you're keeping track, Dean. Only 2 correct answers so far. Everyone else has 4 points.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, so we have a possible German sparkle party going on here. So that means we're going to let Dean guess last. So I'm going to start with Justin and then just go around the circle till we get back to Dean for our final name of the game. Is it a beer? Is it a band? This one is called the Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza.
And the band theme was specifically death metal, right?
I was metal, not necessarily death.
Okay,
We've had stoner metal. We've had
I'm gonna go band.
All right. Going with band. Dan?
Sounds like a band my friend started.
Could be.
Oh, okay. All right. So, I'm conflicted because I'm sure Tony Danza would want to be paid for his name being used.
Hold me closer, Tony Danza.
Of course. So, was it a brewery who just decided to say fuck it? Did they have a partnership with him? Is it a band? And if it's a band, were they signed? Are these all bands that have had record deals?
These are all bands that have put out... I don't actually know. They're all bands you can find on the internet. And I mean, they're big enough that like I could do some research. It's not just some random dudes in a garage somewhere. Like they've got enough of a following that there's information about them on the internet.
God. So, I will say band, but the band's not big enough to be on Tony Danza's radar.
Okay, going with band after much deliberation, Steph.
I'm also going to say band.
All right, so
with
we've
much
got
less deliberation.
Everyone saying band. Dean, I would recommend saying beer because the best you can do is be 1 point behind it.
Well, and you know what? I just might do that, but here's my reasoning. Given that, what was the name again?
The Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza.
And it's straight up Tony Danza. So like 100% IP theft, right?
I mean, I'm not a lawyer.
Anyways, that's totally a beer move, so it's a beer.
Ooh. All right.
Okay,
all
that's a fair
it's
point.
A beer move. I like your chutzpah. Going out on a limb didn't pay off because it's a band. It is a band. They hail from Murfreesboro, Tennessee. The Tony Danza Tap Dance Extravaganza was a mathcore band founded in 2004 that produced 4 albums before splitting up in 2012. If you are wondering, as was I, what mathcore is, this is what Wikipedia has to say. Mathcore is a subgenre of hardcore punk and metalcore influenced by post-hardcore, extreme metal, and math rock that developed during the 1990s. Bands in this genre emphasize complex and fluctuant rhythms through the use of irregular time signatures, polymeters, syncopations, and tempo changes. So it's essentially a hardcore version of prog rock. That is mathcore.
So it's like School Bus Rocks, basically.
Something like that. Once again, we're gonna have to go back and listen through these bands and see what you think. Anyone watching or listening to this, feel free to do the same and leave a comment in the places where comments are available. So that's the end of the game, everyone. We're going to add up the scores real quick. No surprise, we have, in fact, a German Sparkle Party.
I like German Sparkle Party.
A 3-way tie for first place, all with 5 points. Dan, Steph, and Justin coming in behind with 3 points because I'm giving you a bonus point for calling me out on the deluxe suit dark beer because that was a fair point. So I'm going to give you a point for that.
Thank you.
Doesn't change anything. You still lost, but you got that point.
I appreciate the shout out.
Absolutely. So that's the end of the game. Thank you, everyone, for playing. Thank you for watching. If you're doing so on YouTube, do the YouTube things. You know what they are. This is the part of the podcast where we shout out to our most generous patrons on Patreon. We would like to thank the following individuals for their generous support, beginning with Ben Mengel.
I like tasting the beer.
Chris Mahoney.
I'm so sorry. I
there's
did
more.
not mean to hit that one.
Dana.
Fick me, stick it in a pooper.
I'm not doing great so far.
Sean Sullivan.
No, that's the same fucking one. Hold on. You're waiting, and I'm gonna find.
This glass is amazing.
Oh, there you go. That's Ashley from Bierstadt. PA Brew Review.
Like tits.
Topher Simmons.
I want to drink beer.
Jill Chivers.
You guys want a bonus beer?
James Lamberg.
We never got it up.
Eric Dixon.
I would be like, oh my god.
Jen McDonald.
I like clouds.
Yeah. Brian Mills.
If you look keen, it's a lot.
I'm sorry, Brian. I'm so sorry. I love you.
And the one and only that is no baloney, Joe Mansell.
It's literally full of couches.
Literally full of couches. If you want to find out how you can get on this list, how you can get cool behind-the-scenes perks, go to patreon.com/beerbusters and find out what it takes to become a patron. It's not much. And now, Dan.
I'm going to rearrange the soundboard.
We're going to settle up that tab.
Say, Yvonne, remember when I said I'd have to send away to NASA to calculate your bar tab?
Oh, yeah. We all had a good laugh, Mo.
The results came back today. You owe me $70 billion.
Hey, Wayne.
Hey, Dan.
What is your favorite part of your body?
My teeth?
Not what I thought you were going to say, but I agree. Maybe not my teeth, my whole mouth.
Well, I only said that because I know what we're doing.
Oh, you're smart.
I thought that's what you wanted me to say.
You could have said whatever, and I would have rolled with it.
Hey, Dan, what's Quip?
Quip. I'll tell you about a quick Quip. Quip is a modern oral care brand that designs beautifully simple electronic toothbrushes. You know those toothbrushes that Dad always gets us for Christmas?
Yes.
We're going to need to throw those out.
Okay.
Because we should get Quip. We're not going to share it. We're going to get our own because that'd be weird.
All right.
They're going to deliver affordable brush heads every 3 months on a dentist-recommended schedule. That way, we don't forget to throw those out and also forget to buy a new toothbrush months after we should have thrown those out.
Are you telling me that dentists say you should change your toothbrush every 3 months?
Apparently.
This is news to me.
And yet, most people's dental insurance only covers 2 screenings a year, so you go every 6 months. So this will put you at better than what your insurance is going to do to take care of your mouth.
Make brushing great again.
Oh, God. They even have some smart accessories. Like they have a wall mat, so that way you don't have to fight to find counter space for it in a tiny bathroom like we have. You just have this really cool press wall mount that just goes wherever, any glossy surface. That way, if you want to take it with you into the shower, you want to put it off to the right side of the mirror, the left side of the mirror, you even want to take it downstairs to the kitchen for some stupid reason, you can take that mount with you. And, you know one of my biggest problems with brushing teeth? I use too much toothpaste. I think that's why we run out of toothpaste pretty often.
Ah, okay.
It's my fault. But if we went with Quip, they have toothpaste tubes that provide a guide on how much to use, so you don't overdo it, you don't underdo it, you're not cheating yourself or wasting money.
A pea-sized dollop.
It's got to be a pea-sized dollop.
Which I knew before I found out about Quip.
I think I did too, but I don't eat peas, so I don't know how big a pea is.
Fair enough.
But for the listeners of Beer Busters, you can head over to tryquip.com/beerbusters, and you are going to get yourself a free $10 refill while you're also doing the best thing you can do to take care of your mouth. That is tryquip.com/beerbusters. $10 refill for free.
Yay, teeth.
All right.
So, Dane, you've had some success in the homebrewing world recently. And your dad has apparently.
Well, so sure.
Good answer.
So yeah, either my dad became an awesome brew overnight after I taught him everything, or maybe the hypothetically the competition might have had a cap on entries, and maybe I needed another name to put it on there. This isn't recorded, right?
You're always being recorded.
Because those homebrew judges, they can be real sticklers. So
I can bleep the last 30 seconds if you want, and leave all 30 seconds bleeped in the episode.
Leave that part that I said out.
Yeah. Oh, that's before we actually went time in.
Yeah, we went time in when Steph asked about the beer.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no, we I've been entering. Competitions have been on hold for so long because of COVID, and and then some of the big ones around the area, they started doing it virtually, which was awesome. And I've been I've still been, you guys know I was close to opening up my own thing a couple of years ago, but some things got in the way. Some people decided to have kids.
I was going to say, what are the things that got in the way? Are there 3 of them running around your house?
And I shouldn't say in the way. I should just say,
priorities shifted.
Priorities, yes.
Yeah, that's a good
But, at the same time, I've always, I still homebrew, and I try to improve all the time. And I've been having some good luck. I recently won some Best of Show awards for some beers, and I got my dad involved. When you enter a beer and they ask for the collaborating brewer, they don't necessarily ask what percentage that brewer did or didn't do. So, it might be that collaborating brewer just sat down and drank some beer while you did all the work. But hey, no one's asking. So,
if you want to give him the credit, that's on you at that point.
Right. And especially if there's hypothetically a 3 entry limit per person and you have some more beers you want to enter, so you get creative. But I've still homebrew, and it's still definitely on the back burner. It's still in the back of my mind, and who knows.
Yeah, so you guys won Best of Show at Buzz Off Homebrew with the West Coast IPA, Tommy No Haze. For people that have listened to our show before, Dean's dad is Tom. He has been on our show before and is a hilarious character. So if you're looking for a good back episode, please go listen to that one. That was a lot of fun.
By the way, he was the first sound clip I played at the...
I thought that was him.
Yeah, I had to make sure I still had it on the board itself. I know I had the file, but it was on the board. It wasn't on the board.
Wait, you played him tonight?
Yeah. Yeah, that was... you didn't catch that. That was him. Let me go back.
His Porky Pig impression?
No, I remember that. I do remember that. I don't think I isolated
was it
that.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah,
here.
it was.
I like tasting the beer.
I like tasting the beer.
I also have him saying "dough" somewhere, but I couldn't find that in time.
That's cool.
So Tommy No Haze also won first in the American IPA, double IPA category. And Tommy Light, your American Light Lager, finished second Best of Show and first in the light beer category. And then your Munich Helles got second in the multi-euro lager category, and your British Golden Ale took third in the British Irish Ale category. So holy crap, you guys cleaned up.
Yeah, and that was that's the Buzz Off one you're looking at, right? Yeah, and the really cool thing about that is, Buzz Off traditionally is one of the biggest competitions in our area, in the whole state, really. And so that was great to be able to do that and to get my dad involved. And I pretty much kind of switched up what I'm brewing nowadays, and I really only brew lagers anymore. Even the West Coast IPA that I won Best of Show with, it's technically an IPL because I switched all my West Coast IPAs. I now use 3470 lager yeast for, but it's just not sexy to call it an IPL anymore.
Yeah,
but it technically is. So, yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, it's like I said, I'm still trying to improve myself, and maybe one of these days, if I stop having kids and whatever else, we can get back on track with that. So
the beer you sent is Haze Hater. Is this different than the one that won Best of Show?
No, it's literally the same beer, just a different name.
Just different name.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Very cool.
Also, side note, I can't remember the last time I drank a beer out of a bottle.
Yeah, I know. I would always suggest maybe pouring it into a glass, but hey, whatever you like. That's
Well,
fine.
I didn't bring a glass up, so I'm like, nah, fuck it. I'll just drink it
It
from the
works.
bottle.
Why
It's
not?
nice though. It has that juicy fruit character that is always really nice in a West Coast. It is. I'm gonna say it. Quite tasty.
Oh, there it is.
Quite
There it is.
tasty.
Well, thank you.
Steph, can I ask a question?
If
in
you ever
addition
get a
to that?
chance to pour it in a glass, you will also see that I do in fact hate haze, and it's very clear.
It's very clear.
Nice. Well, I do have a second bottle, so I promise to pour that one in a glass.
All right.
I
there
mean,
go.
you could also promise to share that with your co-host at some point.
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. We'll see.
Dean, I got to say, when we had you on the show a couple of years ago with you and your dad, your black IPA was fantastic. Like, we recently had a black IPA on the show, and I was reminded of yours, and it was fucking stellar. It was incredible. And I think that might have been the first black IPA that I had.
Black IPA?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, I mean, that was probably back in, 2014?
It had to be around there, yeah.
Back when black IPAs were cool, and then they kind of came back again in 2020 for a brief minute.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think I've brewed that beer ever again.
Wow, that's a shame, man. That was a good fucking beer.
I used to brew like all dark beers, imperial stouts, all that, but yeah, that maybe I should look into that again. I mean, I'm sure I have the recipe written down somewhere, but yeah.
We actually just brewed black IPA.
Nice.
I was going to send it to you guys, but I figured people that still have podcasts in 2020 all drank hazy New Englands and fruited sours.
No, we're very much the old people in the beer podcast world.
We did it as a charity for Irreverent Warriors, and there's this kind of a plug for this guy. Just he was so cool. Ramblin' Redbeard is his Instagram is tapping into America, and he's literally just driving an RV all over the country, hitting like 2 or 3 breweries a day, and he's getting a brewery in every state to do a beer that's part of the Black Ale Project, where you would donate proceeds to a veteran charity. And he reached out to us, and I was like, when are you coming by? He's like, 4 weeks. I was like, I'm actually doing my next grain order right now. I said, we'll make it happen. Let's do it. So I brewed a black IPA called Stay Frosty. We have it on Nitro right now in our tap room.
Oh, that sounds nice.
And regular carb available in cans.
Very cool.
Came out great.
Well, since we don't have any of Dean's homebrew, I cracked open the cotton.
The other one.
I wanted to do cotton candy before the Raz Melon.
This beer kind of scares me. I'm going to be honest.
I will say I love The Office
hate it.
on this can, so...
Yes, I as well.
Justin, are you the Office fan or someone else at Tatter Flag?
So that's kind of a funny story as well.
Smell it.
It may be an off the record story.
Okay. Could it be a last call story?
Okay.
There's the teaser.
Yeah.
Can I tell you what it smells like?
You're gonna say cotton
Is
candy?
that a last call thing too?
You can take this out.
Are
It
you gonna say
legit.
something nice or no? No, go ahead.
It smells like SpaghettiOs.
What?
SpaghettiOs.
There's about 42 cans of SpaghettiOs.
I was going to guess 50 at least, but...
I would get behind a SpaghettiOs beer. I'm not even kidding
Alphabetios.
Alphabetios.
Captain Crunch. Okay, Dana says it smells like Captain Crunch. That's
And
probably a little more accurate.
I don't smell either of those. Then again, I also got smoke out of the hazy IPA earlier, so like.
Well,
that was right after we
guys, but while we're talking about weird beers, I am drinking Dewey's Nashville Hot Chicken and Waffles.
Son of a fucking bitch! What?
How is it?
Ears.
I
It's
saw
good.
about
It's-
this beer.
This beer's like 2 years old. It's been sitting in the back of. It's been sitting in my stout collection. I never come down to the basement and drink beers from down here, or very seldom. So this kind of gave me the opportunity to pull something cool out.
Goddamn.
Interesting.
And what does it tell us? What it tastes like? We need
It
to know.
tastes like sriracha and maple syrup. And a
I'm
little
okay
bit-
with that.
Nice.
Pretty good.
Remember Rogue Sriracha beer a couple years ago?
Oh yeah! I drove in a snowstorm to get that beer.
That was actually pretty freaking good.
It was delicious.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, I do remember that being better than I thought it was
Yeah,
going to be.
I remember that. This is the dumbest thing that I can remember about it. I remember the bottle. It was bright red and like
Oh, yeah, it
everything was
looks like
done
a
up like
sriracha.
sriracha.
Yeah.
And that was when they were doing that with like their bigger format bottles. Because I have two of the pink Voodoo Donut ones upstairs on my
That's
shelf.
back when Rogue was like the only one pushing the envelope and putting weird stuff.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's very true.
In the good old days.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but I actually kind of like this beer.
I
And this is
like it
not
too.
my jam.
I like it too.
Yeah, I was going to say that too.
Oh, you guys.
Yeah, it's got a nice sweetness to it without tasting too much like candy. Like
Yeah.
the first sip, I thought it was going to be like a Jolly Rancher, kind of like those beers that are just like sugary candy. But it keeps enough of the tartness and the dryness that it's a bit sweet, but not too much.
Yeah, it still manages to be drinkable somehow, which kind of blows my
it's
mind.
quite nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I would still rather have the Pilsner, don't get me wrong, but this was the beer I was most afraid of tonight.
So, Justin, cotton candy floss, that's sugar, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that's just that's marketing, right?
Yeah, it's marketing.
But then you got the raspberry, you got the vanilla, like the flavor, it hits the flavor that you're looking for sure. Yeah, I like it.
And you have a whole line of these custardy beers, correct?
Yeah, custardy is it's our version of the dreams.
Oh yeah,
slushy or whatever the hell everybody's calling them anymore. But nobody stands in line for ours yet.
I hope lines are done. I hope nobody stands in line for releases. Like that's just I don't know.
No, ship it to me. Why do we have to wait
I mean,
in
there's
line
also
anymore?
don't wait in line. Like just like make it for sale online and ship it.
Yeah.
I mean, the shipping's
We
already
charge a
the
little
logistics
more.
are done.
We actually ship them the day before release, just to promote our online shipping. Ship them with ice packs and anywhere in the state, right to your door the next day. We're actually the only brewery, as far as I know, in at least the state, if not like the tri-state area, that uses FedEx to ship their beer.
Okay.
Apparently, we inquired with FedEx back when we started 5 years ago, and they kind of were like, yeah, whatever, like we'll ship your beer. And then they got this very strong policy against doing it. So we're like grandfathered in. And I've shipped beer. There's the FedEx. I live in Hummelstown, so right off 283 is the big FedEx facility. So on my way home, I've dropped off beer at 6:30 p.m. on a Friday to ship to the Fueled by Hops guys in Pittsburgh, and it was on their doorstep by 11:30 a.m. the next morning.
Wow.
Not bad at
So
all.
we probably have what I would venture to say is the best shipping program.
That's awesome.
Because we are exclusive to FedEx.
Wow.
But still not good enough for Dan to know that the beer arrived at his house.
Listen, I didn't know. Here's the thing: the beer showed up on Wednesday.
Dan thought there was 2 beer drops. I don't know why.
No, that's the thing. Like the care package, the supply drop, as it were, showed up on Wednesday, and like I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know this was a thing, and I just figured, okay, Steph orchestrated this because she, like anybody who sent us beer before for the show, she's given them our address, and cool, everything was done. Wayne informed me yesterday that, Dean, you did most of the legwork on this, and you got our address from Wayne. And then this morning, Steph texts me and goes, hey, are you working from home? We just got beer from Dean, and I want to make sure that you guys get some too. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this has to be separate because the care package was from Tattered Flag, and the beer that was delivered to Steph was from Dean. Like, okay, well, this is clearly something different. We found out, like, right before Rich was going to leave their house to bring the beer to us in Philly that it was the same beer.
So he didn't leave yet. That would have been more funny if he actually left and was like halfway down there.
I would have cried, and I would have cried an extra bit for Rich.
So you had it Wednesday.
Yeah, it showed up. I think it was Wednesday that it showed up.
Yeah, it left our facility at 4 p.m. on Tuesday.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's pretty
crazy.
good. That's good. That's really nice. That's really, really good time. Yeah. I'm excited to try this other custardy beer. I'm just going to crack it open next. I want to compare it.
Are we recording, by the way?
Raspmelon.
Yes.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
Oh.
It doesn't.
So it says in the corner
Not video.
recording only when we're recording the video.
Yeah, we're not recording video. I've got the audio over here.
Gotcha.
Yeah, sorry. We didn't mean to make you think one thing was recording and one wasn't. But don't
Scratch
worry.
everything you said.
We won't release anything that'll make you look bad or make anyone mad at you.
Steph, did you see that we dropped off a ghost pepper beer?
I'm saving that for last.
Yeah, that's saving that one for last.
I assumed that is it's 11-12%.
Jesus.
And then we also do a version. I'm saving it for the opening of Lancaster, which again is another fun thing to share here on the podcast. We do barrel aged Phantasma Grande, and then we do Phantasma Grande Supreme, in which I do 5 gallons that gets the same amount of peppers as the full 10 barrels had received. Now, last year I used old peppers. They were frozen, and the spice was just non-existent. A lot of people, they had it on podcasts. We made people sign a waiver for the Supreme. They drank it. And they're like, it's good, but it's not spicy at all. So if you're hearing this podcast and you're going to buy the Supreme this year, you are going to sign a waiver, and it will be.
And there will be a reason this time.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, the real judge is going to be Steph. I mean, I guarantee you, no matter I'm going to be like, that's too much for me.
Well, and Steph, I know you love the pepper beers, so you'll notice you have 3 of those cans, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I only took one just because, I'll be honest, I'm not a huge beer and pepper fan, but I know you are, so I made sure you got the bulk of that. So
I appreciate it. Our care packages were thoughtfully thought about.
But I will for sure try it, and
Cultivated.
Curated.
Well, mangoes.
Hold it down and pour it in your face.
Yeah.
I still
Maybe we'll make some chili or something like that with it. I think you told me, Justin, the other day about a wing sauce that some people
Oh yeah,
make.
we use that beer to so I'll give a little bit of backstory. Our
Dude,
previous,
I'm doing the marketing for you, bro.
yeah. Well, no, our previous head brewer Dave actually, since day one, he started as like the assistant brewer, and then he replaced our original head brewer. And this was his recipe, and it was called Mangost. This was his recipe. He had a recipe. It was called Mangost, and it became one of our most notable beers. We released it once a year, and then we started doing Super Ghost. So Mangost was 13%. Super Ghost was between 16 and 18%. Triple IPA with ghost pepper mango. And Dave was the head brewer prior to I worked under him, but prior to me taking the reins there. Out of respect to Dave, who is a good friend of mine still today, I threw the recipe out and started from scratch, but people were like, I want the ghost pepper mango beer. So I had to include those 2 ingredients. So this is a totally new recipe, different yeast, different grains, different hops. We do use ghost pepper, mango, and I added the addition of jalapeno for a little bit more of a layered texture in the spice, because when done right, you can really get the flavors out of the peppers and not just the heat. So,
right.
I know.
When we rebranded it, we called it Phantasma Grande. We had a gentleman who does a lot of the artwork for Abomination Brewing Company, Sam Heiner. He did the label artwork for us, and it came out really cool.
Very cool. I want to look at
Mangost is an amazing beer, so I have very high expectations for this. I almost feel like we should save this for last call.
I was just going to say, do we want to drink this in our last call segment?
I think we should.
Do we want to close?
I believe I have last year's variant in the fridge here.
Oh, you do a little vertical?
I don't know that I have a fresh can in my home, but I have some of last year's. I'll crack, and I might even have a bottle of the barrel aged up. They're aged in a Cab Franc barrel, so we actually, even though it's still the triple IPA, it's on Untapped as a barley wine, because after sitting in the barrels that long, and I did one batch and filled 4 Cab Franc barrels at whatever they are, 61 gallons per barrel or something like that. So last year we emptied 1 barrel, so I'm about to empty the 2-year barrel aged variant, and then 3 and 4 year down the road.
Wow, that's cool. That sounds really nice.
Really
and no, Dan, I don't know if that was a gunshot or a firework that we just heard.
It's everybody's
There was a
favorite
sound
game.
outside.
Everybody's favorite game in South. Well, as expected, all of these beers were absolutely fantastic. Now, I can't speak to the Dean Pierce homebrew, but I'm assuming it was good.
I trust Steph's opinion.
As do I.
I don't lie.
And I really hope you'll save that other bottle for us. I won't argue if you don't, but just like, please.
But just like, please.
Anyway.
I mean, it's an IPA, so I don't know if I would save it too
I was going to say, I don't think it should be saved that long.
I mean, chances are I'll be in Reading soon. I don't fucking know when. Anyway.
If nothing else, we'll all see each other at Brews and Bands for Bart.
Bingo. Yes.
Which, don't forget.
Of course, how could we? August 14th in Middletown, right outside, of course, of Tattered Flag. Tickets are available online, $40 ahead of time, 45 day of. Get them ahead of time. Not only save yourself the $5, but I wouldn't be surprised if we push capacity and like there will be a cutoff point, because this is huge. And as we've already established, there are 20 bands that are 20 breweries that are announced, another 14 that are about to be announced. Plus, there are more that are in the process of committing to it. So, like, you got a lot of stuff that'll happen between now and the event. And that means
there's collaboration beer.
Yep, there's collaboration beer. There's all the bands that are going to be there. Like, there's a lot of cool stuff that's happening. Do not hesitate and do not wait to get your ticket. Do it now. And it goes to a good cause, benefiting one of the best people I've ever met in my life.
And as Dean said, don't forget, if you can't make it to the fest or you don't happen to snag a ticket before sales are cut off, because there's probably going to be a ton of interest in it, don't forget, Where's the Haze Bart is going to be out there in the wild. Look for that. Proceeds are going to the same cause to help with Bart and his medical bills. So, yeah, there's ways to help out even if you can't make it to the fest.
Yeah.
So.
And
just can I just echo again, Dan, like you said, yes, Bart truly is one of the most awesome people I've ever met in my life, and he's done so much for me and my charities, and honestly, I couldn't have done what we've done without him. And he is just an awesome person. So even if any listeners don't even know Bart or never heard of Bart, regardless of that, you're supporting an awesome person, an awesome cause, and it's going to be one fucking awesome time.
Yeah, it is.
Promise you that, and I promise Bart that, and we will make it awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be an amazing time. And if you listening to this right now have not listened to any of the myriad of appearances that Bart has had on our show,
I would recommend the Hopheads Hanger Jam.
That's
a good one.
That will go down as one of my favorite events we've ever been part of.
Yeah, we recorded an episode there.
They had a fucking Beastie Boys tribute band.
Yeah, the Brass Monkeys.
When have you ever seen that?
And they were good.
Anywhere. They were great.
They were really good.
Plus, like the extreme sports over there, it was awesome.
Cool.
It was a
really
great
cool.
time. We caught up with some awesome friends. Bart was on there then. But I mean, we could talk for another 3 hours about how great this guy is, and I'm happy to do so. However, we should probably not make this episode 5 hours long.
Yeah, because we're gonna drink this in last call.
Yes, and we're gonna drink spicy beer in last call, which I know Steph really wants to get to. But again, Brews and Bands for Bart, you need to get your tickets. And I really hope you'll be there, and that we get to say hi to you, and that we get to celebrate the man, the myth, the legend, none other than Bartly Kaminski.
Hopheadsgear.com for the tickets. And again, I also just want to thank Justin and everyone else at Tattered Flag and the whole town of Middletown. They have all been awesome, and we're just going to make this. It's going to be the party of the summer, and it just come, because it will be worth it. I promise.
Yeah.
I'd like to also just kind of wrap up a quick thing on the end here. I don't know that we said it out loud. This is a 100% not-for-profit.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a very fair point. I don't think we had said it yet.
A penny. Tattered Flag will make a few bucks selling food and beer in our tap room that day. We are not interested in keeping a penny from this festival. In addition to all the awesome breweries participating and donating their stipends, we are donating 100% of all the profits. And also, real quick, while you were mentioning some cool things with Bart, if you guys type in on YouTube, Craft Beer Commandos, Bart forced us to do this video last year, and he drove me fucking nuts making it. I almost told him to get off my boat. But I took him out of my boat, and it just evolved so immensely. He's like, let's just start at the brewery. And next thing we know, we're on the Susquehanna River, jumping off my boat, surrounded by boats full of kids and women yelling at us, and Bart we're all dressed like military assholes and yelling and grunting, and Bart's just making a big scene. And I was like, dude, this is not as much fun as I thought it was going to be. And it turned out to be such a great video. So check that out. While we're just kind of giving props to Bart.
Man, that's great.
One of my employees jumped off a cliff at the end. It was really cool. Down into the river. It was weird and cool.
I love that you had to qualify it by assuring people it was into the river.
Yes, into the river. He didn't just jump off a cliff.
Are they okay? I feel like there's
making the video. I was like, Bart, man, like I don't think I'm having fun anymore. Like this is you're like Michael Bay over here.
Oh
like,
man.
Redo it, and his girlfriend's like, I didn't get that clip. Redo it. I was like, God damn it, this is so.
Bart pushed through, right, and he made you see the big picture, right?
Yeah. So pop that in. Craft Beer Commandos. It was the Butt Light Bandit stealing recipes from the Craft Beer Commandos of Tattered Flag, and he put this whole video together for our anniversary fest back in 2020. And it was such a fun thing in retrospect. So just to tie that in on the end of all the great things we're sharing about him, and the fact I did want everyone to know this is a 100% not-for-profit festival.
Yeah.
Tattered Flag is not looking to benefit in any way, shape, or form from this. We're just happy to be a part of it.
Yep, that's great. And Dean, I know you said everybody who has the collaboration brew is donating some parts of the proceeds to it, and some breweries are saying 100%, and that's awesome. And it's up to the individual breweries if they're going to do it. The ones that do it, I'm sure we all will say a huge thank you and we appreciate it. But the fact that any of them were part of this at all, it says a lot to, again, the camaraderie in the craft beer community, just to celebrate this one fucking awesome guy. So
and another thing I want to really highlight here is I know over the last couple months, the last year or so, I know a lot of things that come up in the beer world that aren't the most favorable, and rightfully so, of course. But I just want to really highlight that there is so many good people still in this industry, in this community, and not to take away from all the other stories that have come out, because obviously they need to be talked about, but just the fact that there's still so many good people in this community and this industry, like it's just so awesome and so heartwarming, and we're just so excited. And like I said, we're gonna hit a home run for Bart, and it's gonna be the party this summer for sure.
That's awesome. I can't wait. I cannot wait for this event. It's going to be fucking fantastic. And not just cheers to that. I'm going to say it. We're going to do it right now. Cheers to Bart.
Cheers to Bart.
Cheers to Bart. Raise your glass when you're listening to this, because you're probably drinking while you're listening to it.
You better be.
And the man deserves everything.
To Bart.
Well, gentlemen, obviously we cannot thank you enough for joining us tonight. Dean, I know we made reference to Dean of Beer earlier. Is that where people should try to find you on the interwebs if they're interested?
I mean, that's cool. I'm always open to talk to like-minded beer folks. But quite honestly, I would rather them go to hopheadsgear.com and get tickets to the event.
Yes.
Or they can also search Facebook. The event name is Brews and Bands for Bart, which was a very creative name, if I do say so myself.
That's perfect.
So yeah, I'm on the Dean of Beer on Instagram, but I would much rather your listeners go to those two outlets to get tickets, and also go on the Facebook page for event updates. And like we said earlier, we announced 20 breweries tonight, and we have at least another 15 to go, possibly even more. So check those pages out, and we'll be sure to get them updated.
Of course. Awesome. Yeah, very well said. Of course, the main priority for the night, especially talking about plugs, is, go to Hopheads and go wherever you can get the tickets for it. If you're still, searching around for things online after that, of course, Dean of Beer. Now, Justin, for Tattered Flag, where should people go to find you guys?
Oh,
Google
You can check us
Tatterflag.
out on social media. Tatterflag Brewery on Instagram. TF Barrel House Lank for our soon-to-be newest location. Not long going to be our newest location. I have yet to put down an Instagram for our casino location in Grantville. But we are very active on social media. Any questions, concerns, highlights, you can comment through our Instagram, and you will come to me directly.
Oh, cool. That is good and dangerous information.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Oh my god,
I get it all, man. I also I co-host our Facebook with the owner, so I see it all.
Nice.
But
I mean, for better or worse, you see it all.
Yeah, for better or worse. If you're a good person, reach out to us. If you don't have social skills, disregard that message button and just follow us for content.
Yeah, you can pay attention to things and also not have to chime in on them. That's totally acceptable on the internet.
Wow.
I mean, it should be the thing that more people aspire towards on the internet, which is why it is acceptable. You don't have to, you can just view things. You don't have to be part of that conversation.
I just love hearing everybody's opinion. So
yeah, exactly.
Can't get enough.
And while you're looking up, of course, Dean's ventures.
Oh yeah,
and
we are on
Hopheads
the internet too.
We're on the internet too. All of the links that you may possibly need for this and everything else. Beerbusters at Beerbusters, Twitter and Instagram, Facebook Beerbusters Podcast. Beerbusterspodcast.com exists. Remember to throw in /shop if you feel like getting some branded content, branded swag. That's the word I wanted. Patreon.com/beerbusters. Little as $1 a month gets you into the behind the scenes stuff. Also exclusive audio that we'll try to sneak some little Easter eggs in there for all the patrons going forward. But most importantly, again, Dean, Justin, I want to thank you guys so much for taking the time with us tonight, for being longtime friends of the show, and also for everything that you're doing with the event with Bart. It's fucking huge and blowing my mind.
No, thank you guys. Really.
Yeah, happy to be a part of it.
Yeah, I'm honored to be a part of it. It's and this is going to be our first in-person recording since before the pandemic, and there's no better way to really just say fuck it, we're here, man. We're back, and let's have a fucking good time.
Yeah, we thought, and not to extend the end of this podcast anymore, but we did think for a long time, once we go back out to breweries to record stuff, we got to do something special. We can't just have an episode one day where we're back out at a brewery. It has to be a big deal, and then obviously we wish these circumstances weren't,
of course,
around. But the fact that this festival just happened to be the one thing we're going the first episode we're doing in person again is just perfect, and it's going to be a great time, and I'm super psyched.
Yeah.
Okay, now we can end the episode.
This is amazing. Well, that does unfortunately bring us to the end of another episode of Beer Busters, and telling man, Brews and Bands for Bart. You gotta get your ticket. You gotta do it right now. Do not hesitate. It's going to be an amazing day. Lots of breweries that you know and love. Lots of former and future guests of the show, I am sure, and a lot of them, check out all their interviews and stuff. Well, hey, I'm Dan Baker. I am joined by my co-host and brewologist,
F. Hafner,
and of course the demented and fermented
Wayne Baker.
No squids were harmed in making this episode. Neither were any baby chicks.
But I really have to pee.
I do too. Get your tickets for Brews and Bands for Bart. We'll see you next time.
I'm about to go ham on some nachos.